Our claim was to prove that any 3 cycle is in n dash. So let us start with any arbitrary 3 cycle. That means we have to start with 3 distinct elements, I1, I2 and I3 from this set 1, 2, 3 up to n. So we are going to prove that any 3 cycle is in n dash. For that, let us start with a permutation pi in G, which sends 1 to I1, 4 to I2 and 2 to I3, and we don't care about the rest of the elements. So we are choosing a permutation from G which sends 1 to I1, 4 to I2 and 2 to I3, and we don't care about rest of the elements. Then note that this pi inverse 142 pi will send I1 to I2. Let us see why. Because I1 will be first sent by this pi inverse to 1, because we know that pi sends 1 to I inverse, and so pi sends 1 to I1, and therefore pi inverse will send I1 to 1. So pi inverse will send I1 to 1. 1 will be sent to 4 by this cycle, and 4 will be sent by pi to I2. So we can see that ultimately I1 was sent by this permutation to I2. Similarly, we can see that this permutation will send I2 to I3. Let us see why. I2 will be sent by pi inverse to 4. 4 will be sent by 2, sent to 2, and 2 will be sent to I3 by this pi. And so we can see that ultimately I2 was sent to I3. And similarly, we can see that I3 is sent to I1. And for the rest of the elements, we can see that pi inverse 142 pi will fix all the rest elements. That is, let us see why. Pi inverse of I, suppose that it is sent to j, then j will be fixed here, because j is not equal to 4 or 1 or 2, and therefore j will be fixed here. And the same j will be sent by pi to again I, because we know that pi and pi inverses are inverses of each other. So if pi inverse send I to j, then pi will send j to I. So we can see that pi inverse 142 pi will send I to I. That means pi inverse 142 pi will fix all the rest elements, but it will send I1 to I2, I2 to I3, and I3 to I1. Therefore, we can see that pi inverse 142 pi is nothing but a 3 cycle I1, I2, I3. Okay. Now we know that we have proved that pi inverse 142 pi belongs to n dash for any pi belongs to G, and therefore this is an belongs to n dash. Sorry. So this is an element of n dash, and therefore this has to be an element of n dash, and therefore we proved that any 3 cycle belongs to n dash, and therefore our step 1 is complete. Now let us go to step 2. In step 2 we are proving that G is not solvable, that is Gk contains all 3 cycles. So we have to prove that Gk contains all 3 cycles. So we will prove this by using induction. First let us prove that G1 contains all 3 cycles. Now we know that G is a normal subgroup of G itself, and we also know that G contains all 3 cycles, because we know that G is either S5, S6, Sn or so on, and they contains all the 3 cycles, and therefore G contains all the 3 cycles, and G is also a normal subgroup of G. So using step 1, I can say that G dash, or that is G1, contains all the 3 cycles. Okay, it contains all 3 cycles using step 1, because G is a normal subgroup of G and G contains all 3 cycles. G dash will also contain all 3 cycles. Now let me assume that Gm contains all 3 cycles. Then we have to prove that Gm plus 1 contains all 3 cycles. Now because Gm contains all 3 cycles and Gm is also a normal subgroup of G, this we have proved in class that Gm is always a normal subgroup of G. So again let me repeat, Gm contains all 3 cycles and Gm is a normal subgroup of G, and therefore again using step 1 I can say that Gm plus 1 contains all 3 cycles, because in step 1 we have proved that if n contains all 3 cycles and n is a normal subgroup of G, then n dash contains all 3 cycles. So so in this case we are replacing n by Gm. We know that Gm is a normal subgroup of G, and Gm contains all 3 cycles, and therefore using step 1, Gm plus 1 also contains all 3 cycles. So here we have established by induction that Gk contains all 3 cycles, and therefore for any k, Gk is not equal to identity. So we have proved that for any k, Gk is not equal to identity, and therefore G is not solvable, and therefore we are done. We proved that Sn if n is larger than or equal to 5, it's not solvable.